Okay, so that's it. It's the last time that 4.3 engine is ever going to run. Guys, welcome back to part 2 of the truck build. Today we're going to be ripping apart the actual donor body, I guess, or this is really the truck that's being swapped onto the frame that we're working on in part 1, which I'll put in the link below. But today I'm going to get this truck put up on the lift. We're going to be salvaging the cab, the bed, the hood, the fenders, pretty much the entire body of this truck. We're going to be putting it on the replacement frame that we purchased over that's outside right now that you saw in part 1. And then we're taking the motor from the 2002 Yukon, the 5.3, and we're swapping it into this truck because it's a 4.3 with 270,000 miles. So the first thing we're going to do with this truck is get it up on the lift. I've been putting this off for a long time because the frame is rotted really bad on this truck, and I don't know if it's going to go up on the lift or not without breaking like a taco. So we're going to try that first. I'm going to just ease it up a little bit and be careful with it. It's really bad underneath. There's a lot of holes and a lot of cracks, so I don't want anything splitting or twisting that could compromise the body and ruin any of that. But I want to get it up in the air just to make sure that I can do it. And then I'm going to take all the bed bolts off. I'm going to strip the front of the truck apart. I'm going to pull all the fluids out and start prepping it just to remove everything off of it that we can. So let's do that first. Also, forgot to mention, I've been really careful trying to bring this truck in and out of the garage because the other day I cut the catalytic converters off and I scrapped those because the value is so high on them right now. I got rid of those. I'm going to do long tube headers. But there's a fuel leak right underneath the driver's side door under the truck, and it's just squirting fuel out when the truck is running. So that's why it's tough to get it to start. I'd use some starting fluid to get the thing to fire. But on top of all that, the exhaust that I cut off is dumping right at where the fuel line is leaking. So it's just like a recipe for disaster. So as a precaution, I took a fire extinguisher and I threw this on the passenger seat when I did it, made sure that I hurried up and got it in real quick because the inner me really wants to just bounce this thing off rev limiter and blow it up because the motor's not, it's just gonna go to the junkyard anyways unless somebody buys it, but I really don't see that happening. I have it listed right now for $100 on Marketplace and not a single offer on it. So it's probably going to the scrapyard. But that's it, it's done. So we're gonna tear it apart. Oh my God, the frame is literally breaking in half. I can't say that I'm terribly surprised, but this whole thing is tacoing. Look at it. Look at the gap. Oh man, that sucks. I'm gonna need a plan B here. It's a strong part of me that really wants to put this up in the air and throw a brace under the back of it, but if something happens and all of a sudden this breaks in half, one end is going to go that way and one end is going to go this way, and I don't want to be anywhere near it. So as a safety precaution, I'm just going to put it back down on the ground, and it looks like I'm going to have to take everything apart underneath the truck. So just laying underneath it, which is still sketchy, but it's really bad. Really, really bad. This is officially the worst vehicle I've ever put on the lift. Something that I'm actually not, I don't feel comfortable putting on the lift. I put a lot of sketchy things on here since I've had this lift in place, but this is definitely the worst one. Funny story, actually. The guy that I purchased this truck from bought it from an auction. It was a used car lot that I purchased it from. And he said he drove it 3 miles down the street from the auction block. So I asked him, I was like, oh, is it safe to drive? And he was like, well, I drove it home. And so he was telling me that I could drive it back to my house, which that was about 15 minutes from his shop. But after looking at it now and realizing how bad it is, I don't even want to be driving it in my driveway. Okay, so first things first, I'm gonna probably pull the radiator support off since my plans have changed a little bit. Can't put the truck up in the air, so I think for today I'm gonna rip the whole front end off the truck, get the whole radiator support lifted off, and then I'm gonna get this ready to put on the other frame because I can bolt this right onto it. And then also I'm gonna be removing the front bumper on this truck too. Sorry, that light is bright. Front bumper is coming off this truck and it's actually going on my diesel, and then I have a painted steel black bumper that's gonna go on this truck that I'll paint gloss black. So let's get to it. Welcome back, ladies and gents. It's the next day now. I ran out of time yesterday. It was Thanksgiving. I had to run in and do family stuff. So next day, back out here. This is my my Black Friday Silverado work. So just pulled all the cab mount bolts out. Surprisingly, those all came out really good. So the next thing I'm going to try to do is lift the cab up. I think I have everything off, but I'm just going to have to inch it up a little bit at a time and check with the light, see if there's any ground wires I might have missed or something like that. So let's see how this goes. There's one mounting point right here that's kind of sketchy that I have on a block, but let's try it out. I think we're good. Wow. Was it really that easy? I kind of doubt it. But it looks like it is. Alright, so pulling the cab off these things really isn't that bad. Sketch level 101 right there. The good thing is this cab really doesn't weigh that much, so it's pretty light. Typical footwell rot right there. Not terribly surprised to see that. I've seen that on the Duramax before too. Yep, got a little hole right there. Really not a big deal though, it's a nice flat area to patch in, so. Everything else came up. That was awesome. Super, super easy. I'm very happy with that. Okay, so cab is up in the air. Got that off the ground, off the frame anyways, I should say. I really wanted to show you guys how bad this frame was. Let me grab my light over here. I want you to see why we're changing the frame out on this truck. Up front, it really doesn't look that bad, right? Still got some undercoating up there. Something to do with these 99 frames as you get further back. Look at that. That there. This is a good side. Now, let's roll on to this side. Look at this. I could poke a hole in that with a hammer. And then as you get further back, there's nothing attaching it. Giant hole right in the side rail. That's why when I was picking this thing up in the air, that was just crumbling. That whole spot was just folding right there, so just crazy. This body frame mount right here. That's actually not that bad. The other frame kind of looks like that too. But, we're in decent shape though. I do got to get the gas tank out of this thing. And the bed has to come off of it. But to put all that in, I can do it after the cab is on. So I'm almost thinking I could throw this cab back on the other frame tonight. I'm thinking if I want to roll that other thing in, I could do that. Should we do it? Yeah, let's do it. I think we're gonna try and get this thing up in the air. I can roll this truck right out back there, throw a tarp on it for now, get the frame rolled in here, and I could lower that cab right down on top of the other frame, and we'll have a semi truck going again. That'd be sweet. And I'll have to get the thing back in here at some point to pull that bed off, but I can just do that right outside too, and then just have a couple guys pick it off. But yeah, most I've ever dug into one of these trucks is really not much to it. It's all harness and routing crap in the front right here. Really this driver's side front corner. After that, 4 body mount bolts, your shifter cable, e-brake cable. And that was it. There's not that much. Some coolant lines up here that go to your heater core. Shifter cable. Hood prop cable. There's not much at all. Kind of makes me want to dig into the diesel at some point. Let's see, ooh, I want to know too how bad that rear cross brace is that holds up the fuel tank. Because mine, when I had it sandblasted, I knew it was rotted, but it's got a big hole I cut out right there and it was all rotted, so I can patch that in and paint that up still. But if this one is good, I'll use it. More than likely it's not, but oh yeah, someone's already patched this up before. I can see it. Yes, this has already all been in before. Somebody welded a pipe right there before down into here, so this truck's been patched up as many times as somebody could. But throw you back on the tripod. We got a time lapse going. I'm gonna get this thing outside, and then we'll get the other frame in here. We'll get this thing lowered down. Well, my time lapse stopped for some reason as I was rolling it in. I just didn't start it again, I guess, but kick my ass. I'm trying to push the other truck out. The brakes are sticking on it because it sat for so long. And then this truck is sitting over there, and then I used to be able to move it around really easy. Now that the motor's in it, the thing just weighs a ton. And then my garage kind of sits a little bit on an incline. So trying to push it on is just push it in myself means kicking my butt. Sorry if the camera's shaky. I'm just shaking everywhere right now. I'm going to put you guys back on the time lapse. I'll put you guys back on the time lapse, and then I'm going to start trying to get the frame lined up with the body, and we're going to just lower it down and let it sit on there. That way I can actually start to pick this thing up in the air and work on stuff underneath, because like I really got brake lines and fuel lines to finish running still, because I started working on those and I didn't finish them, but you know, I did most of it, so the rest of it can be finished up on the lift. It'll be a little bit tighter to do it that way, but it's fine. Just get some stuff moving along here. Once I get this body down, then I'll probably finish up for today. I don't have my watch on, and then tomorrow I'll work on getting radiator support and fenders and wiring and all that fun stuff. We can get this thing kind of back together and kind of start making a list of everything else we need to finish this up to get it to start. So we're still pretty far away from that, but we'll get there. Guys, that's going to conclude today's video. This will be part 2 or part 3 now of the truck build. I'm probably going to collab the first time lapse all together. So the next video, that means, will be Probably getting the fuel tank off the other truck, putting it in here, getting the bed off that truck, putting it on here, and also starting to button up all the coolant hoses, fenders, hood, rear support, bumper, list goes on and on and on. So we're just gonna start plugging away at it. And then once all that stuff's done, then we can start working on the fun stuff, doing the little add-ons and bolt-on stuff. So stay tuned for that. But until then, see you guys next time.